You're standing in your kitchen, reaching for the salt shaker, and you probably don't think twice about what's inside it. Salt is salt, right? You sprinkle it on your food, it dissolves, it makes things taste better. But here's the thing that almost nobody knows. The salt in most commercial shakers isn't actually just salt. There's something else in there, and it's been deliberately added for a reason that has nothing to do with flavor. Welcome to Simple Things Explained, where we take the habits and objects you've never once questioned and show you what's actually happening underneath them. Today, we're looking at why your table salt contains a chemical that doesn't belong there, and what happens when it's not there at all. The reason this matters is because, for most of human history, salt was one of the most valuable commodities on Earth. It preserved food, it was currency. Entire trade routes existed because of it. But once salt became cheap and available everywhere, a new problem emerged. Salt is hygroscopic, which means it absolutely loves pulling moisture out of the air around it. If you leave salt exposed, it clumps. It becomes a brick. It becomes useless. And that frustrated people endlessly. So think of salt like a sponge left out on your kitchen counter. The moment humidity is in the air, that sponge is soaking it up. It doesn't matter if you live somewhere dry or somewhere humid, salt wants that water. And for generations, people just dealt with it. They'd break up their salt clumps with a fork or buy new salt when it went bad. But in 1911, a company came up with a solution. They added an anti-caking agent to the salt, something that would repel moisture instead of attracting it, the same way water beads up on a freshly waxed car instead of soaking in. Now you might be thinking, what anti-caking agent are we talking about here? It's something called sodium aluminosilicate, or sometimes calcium silicate, depending on the brand. These are compounds that work like tiny barriers between salt crystals, preventing them from bonding together when moisture tries to glue them. The anti-caking agent is added in tiny amounts, usually less than 2% of the total product. So small that you'll never taste it, you'll never see it, but it's the reason your salt pours smoothly out of the shaker instead of coming out as solid chunks. Here's where it gets interesting. Once sea salt and specialty salts became trendy and available, people started paying premium prices for versions that claimed to have no anti-caking agents, because the perception took hold that anything added to your salt was somehow unnatural or suspect. But here's the twist. Those artisanal salts still get moisture in them. They clump too. The difference is just that you have to deal with it yourself. Some people actually prefer this because they feel they're getting something pure, even though the anti-caking agent itself is not harmful in the tiny quantities used. Think back to that scene at the beginning. You reach for your salt shaker, pull it out, and the salt flows. That simple action, that assumption that salt will pour, depends entirely on a chemical added over a century ago to solve a problem nobody thinks about anymore. Most people have never even heard the term anti-caking agent, but they interact with its effects every single day. That smooth pour, that convenience you take for granted, is exactly what the innovation was designed to give you. If this changed the way you'll think about what's actually in your kitchen staples, hit that like button and subscribe to Simple Things Explained for more everyday things hiding surprising explanations. Thanks for watching.